Hi lovelies, I'm your host Thea. Join me each week as we discuss all things AAA, indie, game development, art and more here at Girls in Gaming. GG everybody. For anyone who knows me, it wouldn't be a surprise that when at 6 a.m. my husband groggily asked me if I'd seen the newest trailer for the new Mass Effect game, that I demanded to see it that moment. I wasn't sure if it was the fact that my kids were way too energetic for 6 a.m. or my sleep shrunk brain, but after a mere 30 seconds of trailer, I was left utterly confused. On that note, hi again everyone, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Girls in Gaming. Today's episode is a semi-reaction to the new launch trailer, or rather teaser, and what my expectations are for what's to come with the new Mass Effect game. Before we dive into the newest edition of Mass Effect, I think it's poignant to start at, the start. For me, my experience with Mass Effect started on a fateful day when I asked my husband, who I was dating at the time, what that weird cockroach trophy was on our bookshelf. I'd noticed it before and it was unsettling to say the least. He looked horrified, but then quickly calmed himself, came to me, sat me on our couch and explained in excruciating detail that it was in fact a replica of the Reaper from Mass Effect and not a cockroach. That moment marked the beginning of my love affair with the brilliant game developed by BioWare and first released in 2007. That same week, I found myself 10 hours deep in the first Mass Effect of a 3-game trilogy. This game came at me with all the things that I originally loved about gaming: complex characters, beautiful scenery, alien worlds, and a mystery that only I could solve. And we can't forget exploring our newfound world in the buggy. Man, that thing flew. Did like bouncing myself off a bunch of boulders and volcanoes. All of a sudden, my days became about unraveling who the Reapers were, what they wanted with my universe, and desperately trying to save all my beloved companions. Well, except for Kate and Ashley, because let's be honest, there is only room for one cool human in my squad. Needless to say, I became transfixed on the game and quickly worked my way from Mass Effect to Mass Effect 2 and then finally Mass Effect 3. Now my husband was gracious enough to gift me the deluxe anniversary package, which came with the additional DLC included, which I failed to truly appreciate until I'd made my way towards the end of Mass Effect 3. The game had some buried lore and crucial information that took a great game and made it goddamn brilliant. I was in love. The story, the companions, the endless unique worlds, and it all captivated me. I felt in those moments that I was truly Shepard, and I cared deeply about how the game unraveled and its eventual end. To understand why the newest Mass Effect game has been so controversial, it's important to understand how beautifully the game ended, and how continuing the series may ultimately end up ruining a good thing. Also, just for context, Mass Effect Andromeda will not be addressed in this episode because while it is a title of the same universe, it's a story that is independent from the Mass Effect Trilogy. Back to the ending of Mass Effect 3. Each moment in the final game leads you towards making a sequel choice about how you're going to ultimately save the universe, and you're given 3 choices on how to do this. 1. Shepard can choose to destroy the Reapers by activating the Crucible, a powerful ancient weapon designed to target synthetic life. This option has significant consequences for synthetic life forms, including Geth and Edie, who are some beloved companions in your squad. Or 2, Shepard can opt to take control of the Reapers by merging with the Catalyst, the entity that controls the Reapers. This choice allows Shepard to guide the Reapers and prevent any further destruction, however, it comes with its own set of consequences. Or Shepard can choose to merge organic and synthetic life by activating the Crucible. This option is presented as a way to achieve this new level of understanding and cooperation between organic and synthetic life forms, bringing about a synthesis of both. I personally chose to have Shepard choose to merge and achieve this utopia between synthetic and organic life, although it meant a bittersweet end for my beloved Shepard. It felt as if the sacrifice made sense and it had value, and each choice that I'd made up that led to that point had purpose. With a heavy heart, I placed down my controller and immediately started to bawl my eyes out onto my husband's shoulder. Like any good book I thoroughly loved, it pained me that the story had to finally come to an end, and yet it also felt completely natural that I couldn't fight BioWare on having killed Shepard. So you could imagine my immense dissatisfaction when I seen a teaser trailer released by BioWare in 2021 that showed an individual, who I presume to be Liara, on an icy planet picking snow off of a shepherd's N7. I remember rushing to my husband and demanding him to tell me that this didn't mean that Shepard was still alive, right? Neither of us wanted to jump to conclusions, but what grated me about this was the fact that they could bring Shepard back, which would undo all of those meaningful and emotional moments of growth and development throughout all three original Mass Effect games. Just to preface this, BioWare has not announced that Shepard is alive, and in fact they're keeping the whole thing suspiciously quiet, but that absence of a clear protagonist and storyline hints at a big reveal that may only make sense if it is a resurrection of Shepard. Bringing it full circle, the most recent teaser trailer released during N7 Day is exactly 34 seconds long and simply depicts what I believe to be a woman wearing a helmet and an N7 logo on a long jacket. She turns to the camera, pulls out a pistol, and then turns back and continues walking. That's it. All the hype, and we basically get nothing. That being said, of course, I have to speculate about who the cloaked woman is. I believe, while I played a female Shepard, it is important to know that it could be female or male in the game, so gender in and of itself does not actually reveal anything about the game in particular. The presence of an N7 logo implies that it could be Shepard, because from the original trilogy we know that Shepard was the only one to wear that logo. However, I have another sneaking suspicion. I think who they're showing is none other than our intergalactic information broker princess Liara. Why? Well, who knows? It's better than resurrecting Shepard in my opinion. So, what is so controversial about this 34-second trailer, and why do I think that it sucks beyond redemption? The audacity that BioWare has to try and sell a $45 poster of a masked figure in a trailer that we know nothing about for a game that doesn't yet exist, based on a character whose identity is not yet shown. They're trying to get the hype wave rolling before they have anything ready to sell. I'd hands down drop $500 on an N7 leather jacket or $50 on a special mug with my sweet baby stickman Garrus, but $45 for a poster of someone that we don't know in a game that doesn't exist? No thanks, and I don't think so. The N7 Day for this year, 2023, trailer also showed the helmet figure, who we've already kind of described as being fairly feminine, walking down the hallway. Some have kind of described her as being cyberpunky. We're not entirely sure where she's walking to, where she's coming from. After all, it is only 34 seconds. Though the trailer was also accompanied by some new Mass Effect art, the horrifically priced poster aimed at keeping us fans cowering for more milk from their golden teats. Was interesting though, because having a look closer at that, we can see within the coat there are a number of characters in a bar of some kind, possibly Afterlife, wink wink, for those of you who have played Mass Effect, including Geth, Solarian, Asari, Human, Angaran, Turian, Krogan, Hana, and potentially even my hunky stickman husband himself, Garrus. So seeing all of those different races together, and potentially even one of the beloved companions from the original trilogy, really suggests that it is going to be set in the same universe as the original games. As mentioned before, during the Game Awards in 2020, BioWare also dropped the first teaser trailer for the new Mass Effect game. So just going over that a little bit more in detail, it ran just under 2 minutes, which is a far cry from the 34 seconds we got this time. We were quick to kind of like dig in, and I went frame by frame, really trying to break it down and see what was in there that I could uncover. What secrets were they hiding? Because I think we were all a bit desperate for more information at that point. And that excitement was really only fanned when the BioWare project manager Michael Gamble announced on Twitter that there was a lot to unpack, which made all of us go back and have another second look at it. So here's what I did pick up. Firstly, you can hear the distinct horn of a Reaper ringing out during the opening sequence, so cue the PTSD for long-term players.
Following that, we can see the silhouette of a Reaper in the background as a mysterious figure, who we now know is Liara, walks through a snowy landscape. It was confirmed that you do in fact see Reapers in the trailer, so we're likely seeing the remnant of what was left behind after the final showdown with Shepard in Mass Effect 3, which, as someone who found the ending of Mass Effect 3 to be a masterpiece unlike any experience I had previously had, left me seething. To play this sequel, it likely means forgoing my original choices and the moments that led up to Shepard finally defeating the Reapers. So, a little bit disappointing. Looking more into the presence of Liara, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding whether the area we see Liara in is in fact the Milky Way, given that she uncovers some N7 armor. Could she in fact be on Earth? That would suggest that the next game is likely a direct sequel. This leads to additional theories around the timeline of the next game and how it might be tied to Andromeda. If it is set in the same time period, it could give us an idea of the time frame the next adventure will likely take place in. So, for context, Andromeda is set some 600 years after Mass Effect 3, so the end of the Big Bad. And interestingly, you can even listen to voice recordings from Liara in Andromeda. So it really ties those two games together. She becomes an artifact. But knowing this, and given the long lifespan of Asari, it would not be surprising to still see her traversing the stars long after Shepard's gone. This further my own theory that the individual that we see in the newest trailer is in fact Liara, or potentially, hopefully, the child of Liara and Shepard, although I won't go too much into that right now because, man, was that controversial. Prior to the release of the trailer, many believed it was connected to Andromeda because of the official artwork that was released on N7 Day in the blog post announcement by BioWare. The concept art titled Mudskipper shows the silhouette of 4 characters, one of which had the same build as Angara, which is a race that you will encounter if you play Andromeda. Could it be perhaps Jarl? There's also appears to be Solarian and Drell, but who they are currently unknown. The very same images can be seen for just a moment when we see Liara turn and smile in the trailer, which suggests that she may have been the 4th figure on the furthest left of the original image. Moving on, so who's working on the new addition to Mass Effect? Well, a veteran team, obviously. We need experience, and shortly after the release of the trailer, BioWare project manager Michael Gamble highlighted some of the names that will be returning to help create the next step in the franchise. For starters, Dusty Everman has rejoined the development team as a principal narrative designer, which thank God, because he's done brilliant work with the Mass Effect series previously, and one of the things that I loved the most was the storytelling, the narrative structure, and my God, the things that the characters said to each other. It's genuinely good character design, really good narrative writing and dialogue. Gamble also mentions that Everman was one of the key contributors when it came to bringing the Normandy ship to life, and was previously a senior level designer at BioWare. Parrish Lay, who previously worked as the cinematic director for Mass Effect Trilogy, is also returning to bring his vision to the new adventure, along with lifetime BioWare programmer and technical designer Brennan Holmes and original Mass Effect art director Derek Watts. With big names like that on people that are as dedicated and devoted to the Mass Effect series as all of us fans, I'm really excited to actually see what they do with that, because with the development in art and technology, we can only imagine what they have in terms of vision and what they will be able to do to bring it to life. Interestingly, one of the questions that a lot of people have been asking is, will Mass Effect be a single-player game? And in its latest alpha milestone update, BioWare touched on the new Mass Effect game, and it commented its commitment to making it a single-player experience. Gary McKay noted that we have a team hard at work envisioning what the future holds for a new single-player Mass Effect game. The Mass Effect series has always been single-player for the most part, with the exception of multiplayer experience in Mass Effect 3, which was actually pretty good, and I played that with my husband, and he never outshone me in those moments. He let me really take the lead in terms of developing the story, which was great. And I'm always there for a bit of multiplayer fun. Still, it's good to have a single player confirmed and know what to expect from the game, especially in light of EA's push for live service games in the past. I think we've covered a lot today in this episode, and it is important to note that a lot of this is just pure speculation and the rantings of a long-time fan and someone who's married to probably one of the biggest Mass Effect nerds that you'll ever meet in your life. It's important to me that in this day and age, with games like Baldur's Gate and like Cyberpunk that are coming out and that have such complex gameplay and character design and dialogue and narrative, that if you're going to try to resurrect a game from the dead, that you do it in a way that doesn't destroy everything that long-term players have really put into your previous games. Fine if you want to link the original trilogy and Andromeda with a sequel, but be thoughtful in how you do that, because it may be an unforgivable step forward for BioWare. So, waiting with anticipation. Yes, I'm going to play the game. No, I probably won't wait to see what other people do with it first. I need to experience it for myself. But trust me, you will hear from me if I am at all disappointed. And God forbid that happens. Fingers crossed for a good game, though it looks like that's far off in the future. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Girls and Gaming, and until next time, GG everyone.